Welcome to another Fact or Fiction Friday, where we try to disprove certain fitness myths. I am Christopher McKell, the guinea pig. This is the professor, Jason Parsons. Today we're talking about how carbs are bad for you. They are the enemy. And me, look at this. I love me some carbs, some pizza dough, love the crust. Beer, you gotta have your beers. My beautiful plate of spaghetti. And who doesn't like cookies? Look at this guy. And then I am Cuban, and we do like our rice and beans. That's one bean and one grain of rice, but rice and beans.
That's rice and bean.
Okay.
Singular.
Well, either way. So I love me my carbs, Jason.
Okay.
So what's up with that?
Well, first of all, and this seems to be a trend, Chris. Every time we do one of these Fact or Fiction Fridays, you put a statement up here about something that you believed in your life, or you heard from your friends, or is just common knowledge in society. And I have to be the party pooper to come here and say, oh, that's total BS, man. That's not true. Carbs are not bad for you. Okay? Carbohydrates, just like fats and proteins, these are macronutrients. It's a big fancy word that means main parts of our food, right? So macronutrients, this is what all of our foods are made up of. And then of course, unless you have a beer, there's alcohol in that also, but that's a whole other story. So carbohydrates, fats, and proteins make up all of our foods. And the reality is, there's no such thing as a bad food. They're not committing crimes on the weekend. They're not on parole every time you have a piece of pizza. That's not the case. So what we're trying to understand here is that instead of bastardizing a specific macronutrient, the carbohydrates, right? We need to better understand what's going on with your goal specifically of losing weight. So as we've talked about other times, in order to lose weight, you have to have less food going in your face as opposed to how much energy you use through the course of the day. That's how you get into a calorie deficit, and calories are how we measure our energy, right? Mm-hmm. So in truth, carbohydrates are the same as proteins and fats. Too much of this one, make you fat. Too much of this one, make you fat. Too much of that one, well, God, it's in the word, fat. Come on, it's very straightforward. So too much of anything will help make you gain weight. And that's not your goal. Your goal is to lose weight. So if you want to lose weight, instead of arbitrarily picking one, just sort of that one, and pointing at something and reducing that in your diet, why don't you think about maybe, as I've told you many times, and a lot of people out there don't necessarily think about, reducing a little bit of everything, right? And the reason being, if you just cut carbohydrates out of your diet, which is just not realistic with you, buddy. Come on, I'll eat all this stuff. Look at that rice and that bean. You're not going to cut that out. You only got one left.
I know.
You're definitely not going to get rid of that. So it's not realistic to get rid of something that you enjoy. It's part of your culture. It tastes really yummy. Come on, pizza. Come on, right? So if it's not realistic, you won't stick to it. If you don't stick to it, you're not getting the long-term results that you're looking for. So taking carbs out of your diet, it's not an option. So if that's not a reality, something that you'll actually stick to, how about we look at reducing a little teeny bit of everything, just a little bit less. Maybe have some of that cookie, a little bit less of this pasta, 2 beers instead of 4 beers, 1 slice. That's funny. I know, 4 beers, it's crazy numbers. Per serving, 4, 2 in this hand, 2 in that hand.
Cowboys.
Just go to 1 in each hand. Just double fist the beers instead of quadrupling it, right?
Got it.
Only 1 slice of pizza, not Costco pizza slice, they're this big, regular human slice of pizza. So it's about reducing all the aspects of your food, not just one person and making it bad, one piece and making it bad. All right?
So not deep dish, go for like
Yeah. Instead of deep dish pizza, get the thin crust. That is an option. As funny as it is, he's being facetious, that's a reality. Mm-hmm. Changing what's on the pizza. I know you like the pizza with everything on it, extra meat. You like lots of meat in your mouth. So with that being said, if that's not something that's getting you the results you're looking for, maybe cut back to just pepperoni. Maybe that's something, just the sausage, right? One of those options.
Sausage in the mouth, got it.
Something I like to tell a lot of my clients and people when I talk about consuming carbohydrates or any other macronutrients, to have them better understand the value of consuming less, is I like to use car metaphors. Chris drew this amazing vehicle up here. That's what this is, a
good
car,
picture, right?
In case you can't tell. Right? So I could talk about something I tell him on a regular basis. He doesn't really listen to me, but I tell him regularly how he can control getting rid of this extra stuff on his body. Just like with your car, if you go to the gas station and your car's tank is empty because you've been driving all the time and you never pull over and fill up with gas, it's okay to pump some gas into it, just like with your body. If you're working out and you have an active lifestyle and you're burning all the energy that's inside your body, it's okay to have a meal that fills you back up. That's why we eat food, is so we have energy and raw materials for us to continue on with our lifestyle. However, if your lifestyle, like say you work in a job where you sit at a desk all day long, is very sedentary and you don't move, Just like if you have a car that you don't drive at all, it sits in the garage, and you haven't used the gas that's already in the tank and it's still full, just like your body is still full of all the stuff you ate from your last meal. If you go and you have another meal, if you take that car with a full tank to the gas station and you pump gas into it and it's already a full tank, what happens? You can see from the little diagram here Chris made, all that gas flows out on the outside of the car, right? Puddle over here. Same thing happens with your food if your body's already full because you haven't used it because you've been sitting around in your butt all day long.
Light bulb went off.
Light bulb.
Big invention. So when you're filling up gas at the gas station, it won't let you overfill it because it clicks back, stops you. If you put a little device in your throat, when you're full, you can't eat anymore. It just spits it right out.
Have you read the book 1984?
No.
Okay, yeah, that's not a good idea. Let's not do that.
Okay.
Yeah. If anything, that's why you hired me, is to stand around and smack food out of your mouth when you're eating stuff that you probably don't need, right? So, too much of any of these is too much. If your goal is weight loss, which is what your goal is, and anybody else's goal is that, just reduce a little bit of everything. Don't focus on one macronutrient because any of those are not the bad guy, right? What is that?
Oh, it's a fire. A
Wow.
fire and Blaze. It's called Blaze Pizza.
Ah, you've talked about this before.
LeBron James is an investor in this puppy. Love this place. It's my pizza joint of today because they give you these little kind of personal pizzas, so you don't overeat. It's just a regular, smaller size pizza. They all thin crust. I go the extra low because I have the calorie counts everywhere, so I go with the gluten-free dough, the very cheesy vegan cheese. It's actually not cheesy, but
Yeah,
it's
it's the opposite.
cheesy to do
Vegan
it.
cheese, that's an oxymoron, right? It's like meat minus the meat and meat loaf. It's just loaf. I don't know what that is.
But when I go that route, it's a few hundred calories less than when I get the regular one, so I go for that one.
Well, so these are great things that you're choosing to do here. First of all, strange name for pizza, but it is what it is. You made two smart decisions to reduce total calories in your pizza. You went with a crust that has less total calories because it's gluten-free. It's not the gluten being taken out that makes it less calories. It's most likely most pizza doughs that I've seen that they use that are gluten-free that typically make them thinner.
Yeah, it's pretty thin.
So you have a real thin crust. There's just less of it. So that's one option. That's a great thing you did there. And you also went with the vegan cheese option, which again, strange as it is, vegan cheese. It probably has less fat in it because dairy products tend to have more fats in them. Not that fats are bad, it's just less calories. So you have a lower calorie dough for the pizza, and you have a lower calorie cheese on it. So overall, the whole pizza is now less calories. You can semi-enjoy it with those strange ingredients. Get your pizza fix in, right? Especially if you have an adult beverage right before you have the pizza, you really don't care at that point. So like whatever. Those are good choices. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to making better decisions with your food to consistently be in a lower calorie state so that you can get the results you're looking for. You paid attention. Kudos to you.
And the good thing about it shows calorie count. So I mean, the regular one's probably around 800 calories. Still not bad for you if you eat the regular run. You can, if it's a 2,000 calorie diet, or some people, I think mine's like 2,400. I'm supposed to be consuming. Justin, business partner, is supposed to be like probably 3,500. He's a big guy.
I do about 5,000 a day.
Jason 5,000. Look at this physique.
I don't sleep, so that's why I know.
So it's not bad, but then I'm cutting another 300, so it's like probably like 450, 500 calories for the one that I get. So
Nice. Good choice. Good choice.
And then let me tell you something that happened today, Jason.
Yeah.
That's me right here. This guy. He's told me many of times, do not work out if you haven't eaten, especially if you're doing some crazy fast thing, which I tried to do, and I did it last night. I ate dinner at about 7, haven't eaten since then, and I went to the gym at about noon, so 12 to 1 p.m. It's almost a full 16-hour cycle that I didn't eat. So I went to Orange.
How'd you feel after you got done with that fasting? Because you went a large period of time. Part of it was sleeping, but also part of it was before and after you slept, so you didn't have any food for a long period of time.
I felt good with the fast.
Nice.
Felt leaner. My energy was fine. I wasn't starving. I didn't have the hunger pains, whatever you want to call them. So it wasn't bad. It's not that difficult to do. But I went to Orange Theory. Yep. And I did a hard hit workout. A lot of pushing on runs and doing a bunch of different workouts on the floor. And I got really lightheaded. So I knew
I'd say I feel
was
bad
wrong.
for you, but we've had this conversation,
Yeah.
I don't know, 37, 38 times, and so,
That's me with the,
seeing
lightheaded.
stars and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Could have been very bad for me, actually.
it could be, honestly, all jokes aside. Exercising, especially with high intensity exercise, which is what they do at Orange Theory, it's a wonderful form of exercise. You get a lot of calorie burn in a very short period of time doing high intensity interval training, which is what HIIT is, the thing he just said. Lots of really difficult things back to back to back. And it's great for burning a lot of calories, which is part of what we want to do to help you to reduce weight. But when it's real high intensity exercise, the number one source of energy that you're using in your body is sugar, carbohydrate. And if you don't have any sugar or carbohydrates stored in your body, ready to go because, I don't know, say you went and had a large amount of hours where you didn't eat anything because you're purposefully fasting, which is a great thing. Intermittent fasting is one of the tools we use with Chris to cut out some of the extra foods he would normally grub on when he's at home at night after work and in front of the TV or whatever it might be. So we practice some intermittent fasting with him. The problem is, as I've told him many times, 37, 38 times I believe it is if you're going to do your intermittent fasting and you want to go participate in some high intensity exercise, the Orange Theory, which I love for him, it's a great exercise, it keeps him motivated, the team environment and all the fun stuff they do there, you got to make sure they have some juice or a banana or an apple or something prior to going to class, so you have those sugars to fuel your body for that hard workout so you don't end up seeing spots in the sky and stuff like that. But of course, as we know, Chris doesn't listen to me, so that's what happens.
Learned my lesson. Won't be happening again.
So, if anything, we've learned that carbs are not only not the bad guy, because they taste amazing. Again, Cookie Monster loves them. That's why he's got the guns over here, right? So, carbs can be your friend if, just like with proteins and fats, you have the right amount.
Not overfilling it up.
Right? Don't fill up a tank that doesn't need to be filled. Don't have too much of anything. And if your goal is fat loss, cut a little bit of each of the macronutrients, a little bit of all the types of foods that you consume, so that you can be in a calorie deficit and get the results you want. And if you have too little, bad stuff can happen over here if you have high intensity exercise as part of your lifestyle, which this guy over here does. So something to keep in mind.
Sounds good. Very nice. Hope we all learned that carbs are not bad for you. So I believe Mr. Parsons has debunked this myth that everyone believes in. Until next time, Christopher McKell, Jason Parsons, the professor, signing out.